good evening to all. This is Dr. 𝗨𝗨𝗱𝗶𝗵, founder of Edvishan, and I'm joined by my esteemed co-founder, Dr. Vikrant Singhal. And for the last 3 years, those who are newly joined today, it is for their information that for the last 3 years, we are conducting this kind of online workshops for educators and educators across India and beyond. India also joined regularly on our this capacity building programs, and our certificates are valid worldwide and for all boards. So let us not waste any more time and start with today's session. Today we will be dealing with a very sensitive topic. Let me share the screen. And my session is always very interactive. So I'd request everybody to participate wholeheartedly. Yes, I hope the slide is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today's topic is understanding student minds, guiding with empathy and 21st century skills. We will start with a quote to focus or shift our mindset. That is, children are not vessels to be filled, but lamps to be lit. Our focus will be on that so that we can together lit up that lamp for our students. Yep. This will be our mindset and focus for this 90 minutes journey. Our 90-minute journey will include psychology of today's learners, empathy in action, 21st century skill set, resilience and motivation, empathy-driven classroom plan. And the goal is live with actionable strategies to connect deeper with our students. Let us start with an activity. That is, step into their shoes. If you were a student today, what's one thing you wish your teacher understand about you? You can unmute and share or write in the chat.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah, very good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yeah, ma'am, this is 𝗨𝗨𝗶𝗶𝗵. Basically, I'm from Mainpuri, UP only. I'm working in a Sudati Global Academy, Mainpuri. It is one of the best school in UP only, ma'am. Ma'am, if actually suppose if I'm just as a student, ma'am, and what I want as the teachers, ma'am, like my teachers is caring me. And it's like whenever my teachers is entering the class and he is always like he feels that he when I'm attentive in the class and he just trying to create a good lessons in the class, ma'am. And like if the teachers will create a good lessons, ma'am, then only like that the students like the teachers most.
Okay. So you want the care and attention as well as a good delivery of
Ma'am, actually, ma'am, excuse me, I'm very sorry to ma'am. I just want to share my one why I'm attend this workshop, ma'am. There are some reasons, ma'am. Actually, from last 2 days, I'm just facing a bit problem, ma'am. There is a one student in my class, ma'am, the main problem is that the students is belong to the board class, ma'am. Like in after 2 or 3 months, he will be appearing in the board examination, ma'am. But what I found, ma'am, like whenever I'm in the class and my all other colleagues, they are just trying the level best, but a student somehow, due to his family background, his father is also working as a private teacher in Manpuri only, ma'am. So like he's when I don't know, ma'am, what's the reason, ma'am. When I just checking his copy, ma'am, he was just cutting down all the questions. And ma'am, you surprisingly you have understand what I'm saying, ma'am. All the questions were right, but I don't know, ma'am, what's the reason why he just cutting down all the questions. And when I'm asking in a polite manner, ma'am, what's wrong with you, beta? Ma'am, he's always giving a very what I'm saying, ma'am, harsh answers, ma'am, not up to the mark, ma'am. His answer is not up to the mark. And I just called his parents, and his parents also have never understand what the thing is going in his mind, man. So I just want to request him, please just kindly focus on and just trying to like provide me the way how can I just like I'm just guiding their students in a very positive manner.
Yeah, surely. That means the student is writing down all the answers correctly, but when you are asking
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
verbally, he is unable to answer this.
Ma'am, will you please repeat once again? Please repeat once again.
Means the student is writing down the answers correctly.
Ma'am. He was writing his own because I'm dealing with the social science. And actually, I'm a social science teacher. So, like, what answer he's writing, that is okay, ma'am. And his score. If I'm just when I'm just like go with these things with my principal sir. The principal sir told me, "He Saurabh, you do one thing. His answer is correct, man. Yes, his answer is correct. All of you just ignore what he's cutting down. You have just simply you have just you have just about the numbers." And he was secure 54 marks, ma'am, out of 80, ma'am. That was the nice marks, ma'am. No?
Yeah, it is average, but the issue is that when you are asking something, he is answering rudely or he is harsh.
Yes, ma'am, rudely, and my mess. There is some problem related with his family only, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so at the end, we'll have the open session, open forum. So everybody can share their views regarding this, and also we will discuss openly regarding this. Okay.
Thanks, Lord.
Okay. So now I want this answer from everyone. For all, if you were a student today, what's one thing you wish your teacher understood about you? Others, please respond. Anything particularly you feel that if you are a student these days, particularly your teacher?
Yeah, ma'am. If I would be the student of nowadays, so naturally, I would think that my teacher should be an adult one, like focusing more on the studies, whatever work we are doing, like suppose it is of science of JEE or NEET or any of the CA exams. So with the normal academics, the extra knowledge would also be implementing on us, and know that understanding according to the circumstances which we are dealing right with this mobiles and AIs and all that. Keeping that into consideration, if they are helping us in this way, so definitely one of the teacher would be one of my mentor. I would say that.
Okay. Want the teacher to be your mentor. Others? Any other view?
Ma'am, there are few on the chat as well. So we've typed few things on the chat. If you could check, please.
Oh gosh, sorry, I'm stopping. So notice. Recognition from teacher. Then Rachna ma'am has written, understand that each student is different and respect individually. Okay. And then Manvi ma'am has written, with my teacher, was more approachable, and I could directly tell her that I am unable to understand few things that I explained and make me understand without getting angry or with more patience. Okay. So yes, all these things we want our teachers to do for us. So now the next activity is the one-word emotion check-in. Please use the chat right now and describe how you feel your average student is feeling today in just one word, like stressed, tired, eager, distracted, or anything. Or you can unmute and share. As a student, you have mentioned what you want from your teacher. Now, as a teacher, you have observed your students. So what do you think those students feel these days in one word?
I would say they are tired and distracted most of the time, ma'am.
Okay. Others?
Ma'am, same thing, distracted and they are tired.
Stressed,
They are-
distracted mostly. Okay.
Yeah,
And fewer stressed.
yeah, stressed and tired. And what they focus for them, suppose I'm telling about my experience. Yes, focus on only few things. Suppose they're focused on the main subjects, not for any other subjects. If they're going for JEE or NEET, so they'll be focusing either on maths or science, maths or physics or chemistry or that way. But if I say, come on, yeah, study in English, man, what is there in English? But problem is that they're getting the marks less and their marks have been detected, we can say the percentage has been reduced because of this English subject. So I said, what this is the ma'am of the marks you card. Let's see what you have written. And you feel that English is very easy. But English is not that easy. So that is the reason I think that. And then I say, no, when I enter the class, I say, okay, now let's go with the English. Ma'am, English, nothing is there in English. That way they say. Then I see they focus more on this. And suppose if anyone is asking any question, they don't wait for the teacher to respond. They themselves say, "अरे नहीं ऐसे नहीं हुआ, यार तूने ऐसे कैसे कर लिया?" नहीं ऐसे. So it sometimes you feel it's there's no value of a teacher over there.
Okay. Yes, these are the issues. Actually, that is what is mentioned in the session also. These are the issues these children are facing, actually. So the world our students live in first is fast-paced, hyper-connected, emotionally demanding world. Emotionally demanding, also draining out, actually, those students. Then there is digital distractions, peer pressure, and identity struggles. So these are the basic uh, things that our students face on their daily life. As Divya ma'am, Manavi ma'am has mentioned, the same thing we should understand that how the students are living these days. What is the scenario behind their behavior in the class? Okay, because when we were all students, we need not to face all these kind of means emotional draining out or digital distraction or overloading of information. These are the things we didn't face. But this generation is facing all these things. That is why you can find the change in their behavior is happening. So that is where we need to understand from where these things are happening and how can we resolve these things. Now there are 8 traits I'll be talking about today. Key realities of today's learners. First is digital immersion. Second, later on, I'll be gradually focusing on each. Second is emotional complexity. Third is global awareness. Fourth is personalized expectations. Fifth is collaborative mindsets. 6th is multimodal learning styles. 7th is identity exploration. And 8th is cognitive overload. So these are the traits, the reality of today's student that we must understand. Okay, if we frame the lessons accordingly, or if we build the rapport accordingly along with our students, gradually we can see the changes happening in our students also. Okay. So let us discuss about digital immersion. Well, everyone has mentioned that students are mostly distracted these days. One of the main reason may be digital immersion. Constant exposure to screens, apps, and online platform. That is the main reason of distraction of today's students. Learning often happens in hybrid or fully digital environments. And for that, the changes that is happening actually shorter attention spans. Students cannot focus long for any work, any study or anything, but faster information processing. But they are smarter than us. Okay? They can process the information faster than us. Also, there is another thing that the reading habit of the students is also getting lesser than in our time. Yeah. So this is the main effect happening to today's student because of overexposure to digital platforms. Yeah. So accordingly, we need to think about that as the students have shorter attention spans, gradually will be coming out. So within this shorter span, how can we make the students learn more effectively? As because they can process the information much faster than we used to do. Okay, so this is the technique we have to apply to make the students learn properly. Next is emotional complexity, increased anxiety, stress, and emotional overload. These days, what happened as because the overexposure to informations, also there are mostly, we can find the nuclear families. Inside the family also many things happen. Outside also when they are going to the outer world, coming to the schools, lots of anxiety, stress, and emotional overload is burdening those students. Okay, so that is why inside them there is a crave for safe spaces, empathy, and emotional literacy in the classroom. So when they come to the school, that is the main thing they want, a safe space for them so that they can express themselves properly. Most of the time what happens, if both the parents are working, they do not get the proper attention from all the parents at home. So or maybe because of single child, they do not have a companion at home. So when they come, we can find that some of the students become extremely talkative inside the classroom. While if we discuss with the parents, we can find that at home they do not talk at all. So that is the reason. They lack companion at home, and when they find lots of similar age or similar minded people in the school, they start to express themselves. That safety, that empathy, that emotional belonging they want in the school or in the classroom. Okay, so this is the emotional complexity the children have these days. Thrive with emotionally resonant visuals and storytelling. See, overexposure make them over-informed. Below the age, they are getting the information that they sometimes, most of the time, they are unable to understand or grasp. Okay, so that is how this is affecting their thinking process also. If which one is correct, which one is not correct, they become confused most of the time. So that is the things, the total this chaos or emotional complexity they have in them. Next is global awareness. More connected to global issues, be it climate, equity, identity, politics, so everything, climate change, social justice, politics often discussed on social media, classrooms, at home. So these things gradually, when especially the high school students or middle school students, these things affect their mind. They take the information from various, because the information comes from various sources in various way. In newspaper, something is found. When they are watching TVs or social media, something is been announced, or in the discussion in the classes, something has been told to them. So they at a time when they are getting this kind of information, they can feel that there are problems arising around the world. And what happens, this awareness fuels a desire to be part of the solution. So sometimes they want their voice should be there to resolve these kind of issues and something like this. So if we organize similar kind of things in the classroom or in our activities, where the students can share their mind or their ideas regarding the recent challenges or recent events happening around the world, what happens, they can be released of their mental or emotional stress to some extent, because they will feel valued. They will feel hard that yes, so many things are happening. Their ideas also been heard. Their whatever they feel like they can express in the classes. And if a discussion session or any kind of a similar kind of thing, presentation can be made with this trending issues and something like this, and where every student should get the participation to share their views, then gradually their self-esteem increases. This emotional safety that they are looking for, sometimes they start to get that through this kind of activities. Next is personalized expectation. These things are very common these days. Earlier, we didn't have such kind of mindset. Whatever has been delivered in the class, it was common for all. We were habituated of taking this kind of lessons or lectures and all. But now, as the students are becoming smarter, they have their preference of in which way the things are being delivered to them. As the learners, maybe some may be more favorable for visual learning, some may be favorable for kinesthetic activities, some are auditory learners. So their preference is a matter these days, especially through NEP 2020, that has been in focus, that we should deliver the lessons in a way that all the students in the class are being able to grasp whatever we are trying to say. So their preference in their choice, autonomy and voice in learning, students should be more heard these days rather than the teacher. The teacher's role, already in my previous sessions I have mentioned, teachers are now facilitators. Their new name is facilitator, not the teachers anymore. They will support them, but let the students do most of the works, especially the middle school onwards. Even class 3, 4 onwards, we can start doing like this. Give the students more responsibility, let them come up with solution, and then accordingly shift the discussion. So you can find that when the students are more being involved, they are getting more like Divya ma'am was mentioned. The students themselves are giving solution, doing this and that. That means they want their voice to be heard more. So in that case, what we can do, we can arrange for such kind of things. So where the students can share their views. Okay, once in a while, as part of the activity, for each lesson, we can divide the activities like this. There will be some discussions, there will be some group works where students themselves can share their views, their ideas. So this way, what happens, the teacher will be there to facilitate them, but the students will do all the things, as well as then you can see that their thought for the teacher will also be changing gradually. Okay. Expect content to be tailored to their interest and pace. As I have mentioned that because of NEP 2020, the classrooms has to be inclusive. Means we need to accommodate all kind of students in the classroom. So some are fast learners, some are normal learners, some are slow learners. So the pace of learning accordingly, we need to research on our student and make the lesson accordingly. For slow learners, we need to give the separate activities where we can involve these learners properly. Okay. The first learners, they can be given some more advanced activities, or even if they are been given the task of mentoring the slow learners, you can find that your burden is lessening up, and those students have taken the responsibility of making the other students learn appropriate way. So this way we need to apply the different methods to make the students understand the lessons in proper way. Then respond well to competency-based and experiential formats. As because of their short span of attention, then their distraction, and their more autonomous views and all, if we regularly start experimenting with delivery of the lessons, applying the competency-based and experiential formats, we can see the changes in the attitude of the students. Okay, more activities where students are being given more responsibility, rather than we as teachers, as facilitators doing all the works. So this way the changes will happen if we frame the activities or delivery of the lessons accordingly. Okay, so that is why we need to understand the mindset of the students of this generation. Next is collaborative mindset. Often learn better in group settings than solo, as because they are very distracted, they have a shorter span of attention. So if we involve the students more in group works, group activities while delivering the lesson, then we can find that all sorts of students are learning in proper way. Okay. Appreciate facilitators over traditional instructors. As the students want the support and guidance from the teacher, rather than only this rigid delivery of lectures in the class. That is why their viewpoint is more appreciative when the teacher acts as a mentor and facilitator, rather than only this traditional instructor. Okay. So they also value peer learning, co-creation, and feedback loops. So that is where we need to use these things more often, rather than blaming the students. If we use this kind of activities, we can see that they are appreciating us also as mentor, as well as the work is becoming in a smoother way. So more of peer learning, co-creation. Co-creation means group activities where students are co-creating the things, even starting from the class decoration, classroom rules, the setting up of the sitting arrangement, everything. If we involve the students more, we can find that more discipline, more smoothness in the class is happening. And feedback loops. This feedback will come from teachers, from peers, means one student to another student, as well as the self-reflection. Each student will think and write about what they are learning every day. So these are the things we need to apply in the classes more, rather than this plain study techniques. Okay. Multimodal learning styles need varied entry points, infographics, videos, simulation, as because they are overexposed to variety of resources. So we also need to show them the variety of entry point, means a variety of teaching aids. Like infographic, we can deliver the information through infographics, through videos, through simulations. I think I have already discussed what is the difference between simulation and role play. Anybody can share, please? What is simulation and what is role play? Anybody can share what is simulation? Any idea?
Yes, ma'am, but I mean,
Yes.
I'm not able to recall because I think it's one and a half month back, I think. So I'm just recalling.
So now teachers also have to practice revision to remember the things.
Yeah.
Yes, please share whatever comes into your mind, because you have attended almost all my workshops. Anyone else?
I'll just try if I recall and try.
Anyone else have any idea what is simulation? And what is role play? Role play is very common. I think everybody knows. What is role play? Anyone?
Probably, ma'am, you enact something or you take up a role of a person, maybe someone who's motivational or someone who's heroic, where they can depict themselves, or we tell them that this is a positive attribute that they can learn. So we show them through a certain different kind of role, as a model that we display those things to them.
Enactment of any character.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Any character, it may be from the chapter only you are explaining. Okay.
Yeah.
Suppose it is vernacular, then from this story or poem or anything, you can take the role play. Then if you are dealing with other subjects, there also role play can happen. Okay, for like historical subjects, anyone can play a particular role of a king, queen, or anything. When you are dealing with science, how can role play happen? Suppose one can play the character of the sun, one can play the character of the water droplet. And then what is simulation? Simulation is creating the entire situation in the classroom. Okay, as in the science I have mentioned, one can play the role of the sun, one can play the role of the water droplet, One can play the role of a tree. Then what will be the simulation? They can enact the entire water cycle in the class. Is it understood by all? Like they can create a small skit. As I have also mentioned that interdisciplinary, connecting the subjects. So English will be connected to science. How? Through this simulation. Simulation means creating the situation in the class. And role play is each character the students are playing. Okay. So they can play the character of, as I was mentioning, like in geography, they can play the character of one can be the stone, one can be the river. Okay, now how the river is been originated through this simulation, they can enact like this. So any subject can be connected through this kind of activities. Okay, and when the students enact this kind of things, they need to do the research. They need to go through the entire chapter. Otherwise, they cannot perform this. So through this, what happens? The students are doing the revision of the entire chapter. Okay, so that is why these kind of activities are very much required. Where the students will do all the research work, they have to learn the chapter, then only they can, even if they are preparing the skit, they're writing the script, they need to know about what is water cycle. Unless they do not know, they cannot write. How the river is originated, unless they do not know, they cannot write. Okay. Similarly, in maths also, addition, subtraction, one can play. Okay. And the entire word problem can be enacted like this. In this way, what happens if even in the primary classes, this kind of simulation is, if been organized, they can learn very easily. What is addition, what is subtraction, what is division, multiplication, everything. So the ideas become very much clear. Now I can see Taposhi ma'am, you want to share anything? You have already shared many ideas. Yes, ma'am.
So, sorry,
No,
ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually, I was in the evening coaching as I'm residential teacher. So, I was in the evening coaching. Just I have joined, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. Now I could not share anything.
Okay, okay. Just something in the chat, I think. Role plays enacting a character. Rachna ma'am has written a simulation representation of a process. Yes.
एक आना तुम थोड़ी देर फोन छोड़ा तो नहीं छोड़
Okay,
दो
so I think now it is clear ki what is role play and what is simulation. Next comes the identity exploration. Learners today are not just absorbing content, they are using it to define who they are. They always try to connect with their real life. Okay. So whenever you are delivering any subject, any lesson, so as because they are smarter, they are overimposed to different media and all, they always try to connect whatever they are getting in the school, how that is relevant to their everyday life. So the more you can give the everyday life example, how it is, why it is required, like the ma'am was talking about, the students do not want to learn English. That same thing happens with vernacular also. Why these are required, why they should learn the language properly. Otherwise, in the job interviews, they cannot perform. The only marks in science, there's thing we need to make the students understand why they are being taught so many subjects, because every subject has certain amount of effect in the day-to-day life. Okay, so these things, as educators, we need to make the student understand. that if they do not learn their mother language, because the mother language is the first thing we get to know in our life. So we can always express or we can think always more clearly through our mother language only. That is why we need to learn it to some extent. Like that is why after 12 it becomes optional. Similar way, why English is an international language, and unless they do not know English properly, only getting marks in science and all will not make them secure a good job. For that, they have to appear for interview, they have to pass the written exams and other many assessments, everything has been given. And for these reasons, they need to qualify and learn English also. So that is how, if we have been able to make the students understand the significance of learning each subject, then automatically they will start to learn as because they want to connect this, how these things are useful for their everyday life. So automatically they will take interest in all those subjects. Okay. They notice who's included, who's missing, and how stories are told. So we sometimes think that the students are not noticing ourselves, but they notice every single detail, every minute detail, how you are interacting with a particular student, who are being given preferences, who are not been included, all these things they notice very minutely. So our behavior in the class actually defines how the student will be behaving with us. I'll ask Saurabh sir, you were talking about a particular students. So have you noticed that other students, how the other students are behaving with you in the class? Or have you ever been given preferences to other student over that particular student? Has
Of course,
anything
ma'am.
happened?
He is just also demotivating other students. And this happens in the class. The one or the cucumber has changed the color with others now. So this happens in the class, ma'am. The one or two students, they are also just they are just appreciating him. You are doing a very fabulous job. And this happens, ma'am. So like we teachers, we are just providing the supports, and we are just trying to we are also sometimes we are just as a motivator, and we are just trying to give him the right colors now. Beta, this is the wrong, this is the right, and so because we have some barriers, ma'am. And we have some barriers, we have some limitations, ma'am.
Now, one thing you can do, you frame this issue as a problem and
Yes,
discuss
ma'am.
in the class and ask the students to come out with solution. You ask that student first. If this happens with you, what will be the solution? Okay, you see how the student brings the solution. What solution the students bring? Okay, let them think about it. Then the student has to think about it. Once you are giving a solution in the class, a problem in the class, and asking all the students to come up with a solution, then the students need to think about that problem. Okay, and that student particularly will think about why he is behaving like this, and then what will be the solution. Okay, you do
Ma'am,
once
why?
in a class. Make
Excuse me,
us
ma'am.
yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, why he just creating problem in the class? There's some reasons, ma'am. Actually, his father is residing in a city only, and he's residing with his grandparents in the village only, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, that is
So
what, no, he is emotionally insecure, actually. So that means he want to grab the attention of everybody more. And inside his mind already, this insecurity is prevailing, as because he doesn't get his parents whenever he require. Or if his father is away, only doesn't get his father whenever is required. Okay, so this gap actually is making them behaving like this mostly. Next, get back to this one. A curriculum that lacks diversity or perpetuates stereotype can feel alienating. So stereotype delivery of lesson will not work for this students, means students of this generation. Okay, so we need to frame the curriculum accordingly, that all the students are more actively engaging. We can engage the students in a meaningful way. Next is cognitive overload, juggling multiple resources, platforms, and expectations. So they need clarity, structure, and visual scaffolds to reduce overwhelm. So most of the time they become overwhelmed with overexposure of resources, platforms, and also expectation. They have expectation from their family, expectation from teachers. Sometimes peer pressure is also coming to them. So they are most of the time overwhelmed. So if you use more of rubrics, flowcharts, and simplified frameworks, try to explain the simplest way in the class. So this will help them to grab more accurately the things that are being discussed. Yeah. Now let's come to the understanding of the adolescent mind, especially why adolescent, because that is the most vulnerable period actually. This time means when the students reach the high school, middle school. From then onwards, the most vulnerable period of their life starts. So that is why we need to understand more accurately the adolescent mind. We need to focus more on them. It is a period of rapid growth physically, emotionally, and socially. See, the students start to have the physical changes that come, that also start during this time. Okay, we all have gone through this period, and we know that when this kind of changes happen, there are certain effect we have through emotions, through mental disturbance and all. So we as teachers, we need to think about our this childhood days, and we need to understand these students also. But that time we were in a more secured condition. We were not been overexposed. We are not been so much expectations from everybody. But here they are, along with that changes, they are facing so much overloading of information and other exposure. So these things, firstly, we need to think about. Then brain development continues into the mid-20s, particularly in areas linked to decision-making and impulse control. Most of the students become impulsive during this period only. Class 5, 6, 7, 8, like this. From there, you can see the impulsiveness increases. Mostly for boys, it becomes outward, and for girls, it becomes inward. It is some of the girls become withdrawn inside them. So these changes, as teachers, we need to notice, and we need to talk to the students more often and do research work. Okay. Then emotional intensity, identity exploration, and peer influence are all part of healthy development. We need to use that for healthy development. Sometimes what happens, the students do not express themselves to teachers or elders. So in that case, you can use the peers. Some of the students in every class you can find out who are a bit mature. So you can use those students to talk with the impulsive or the students having some behavioral disorder to discuss things. They may express to those their peers more frankly about what is happening with them. Okay, so these kind of things we need to utilize this in a healthy way. Okay. So for educators, respond with understanding, not judgment. Curiosity over criticism builds trust. Become curious about, show interest with your student, particularly those you are finding out that not behaving in proper way as expected. You start to show interest in them. Ask them simple questions. Have you taken breakfast, or what you will be doing going back home? This, that, try to build a bit rapport. When they find that, yes, you are showing interest to them, then they may come out with whatever is happening with them actually. It may be something internal, or maybe some external factors we do not know they are facing up. So these kind of things, especially dealing with this teenage students, we need to focus upon more often. Yeah. So that is why particularly this teenage, because all this, the changes, whether the students become better, or sometimes it has been found that their performance is deteriorating during this time period only. Everything has been decided, how the students will be growing up. So as facilitator, as mentor, we need to understand this and approach accordingly. Now, psychologically, if we think, every behavior tells a story. Means behind every action lies a need, either attention, acceptance, or assurance. Observe before you react, understand before you advise. So as Saurabh sir has mentioned that he understand that the students need something. Here the student needs attention as well as assurance. Okay, as because the student is not getting the parents whenever required. So being a teacher, we need to play the role of a parent also sometimes. Okay, if we want the student to progress in life. So that gap as a teacher, we need to fill whenever the student is in the school campus. Next is motivation is emotional, not just cognitive. When we are motivating the students should feel connected to us. It is not that just we are telling me do this, do that, this, that, but the student is not actually connected. Or the way we are throwing our this advices and other things, students do not feel to take it on them. Okay. Students engage when they feel safe, seen, and supported. Emotions drive learning more than instructions do. So the interest should be genuine. It's not that we are just showing up, because other person always can feel it. So we need to see from that person's perspective. If we are supporting, if we are giving advice, then we need to think about that person's perspective. Okay, so that finally the connection is built with the student. Learning difficulties often mask deeper feelings. Struggling in academics may reflect anxiety, low confidence, or unmet needs. Look beyond the surface, teach the child, not just the subject. So when the children are having some learning difficulties, what happens automatically? They grow this anxiety or low confidence, or some unmet needs which we ignore at that time. As because sometimes it also becomes impossible for us to guide all the class full of students of different background and different level at the same pace. Okay, so for that reason, we need to research on those particular students who need special attention, and we need to find time to sit with those students, to know the students, or to discuss things. So that if the student is having learning difficulties, the student doesn't feel scared in the class, in my class. Okay, so these things we need to think about. And for that, as a teacher, we first have to identify those particular students at the beginning, so that the entire session we can work with them. Now there is one activity. Paul, what do you think students struggle with most? Pressure, distraction, or motivation? Sometimes what happens, students try. Yes, yes, please. Shubhana ma'am, please share.
By looking at that picture, we can come to know that the boy is under the pressure. A lot of books are there next to him. So he wants to study that pressure from the parents, peers, as well as from the teachers also. So it looks like he's under the pressure.
Yes.
That's it,
Others?
ma'am.
Yes. Others? Anything you want to share? Others? When you try to motivate students, do the students take it seriously? Anyone can share their experience when you are trying to motivate? All three. Okay.
Yes,
Apsana ma'am has-
definitely, ma'am.
Yes.
When we motivate the students, they will feel relaxed and they will enjoy each and every subject. So they will feel very free and they can handle whatever it might be the situation.
Yes, absolutely. So this should be a part of our daily lesson. Actually, when we are coming to the class, at least one sentence of motivation we can always include with our lessons or with our activities. Now there is one observation checklist. This one I will give also you as a note so that you can go through it. Observation areas, every day you can check that. Observation areas, the first is attention. What to notice is focus in class, easily distracted. As because you need to do the research, you need to identify the students. So just a minute, I'm out of chat. Rachana ma'am has written, students are under tremendous pressure. They need motivation, guidance, and support from teachers during this difficult times. Yes. So as we have already discussed, today's generation is under tremendous pressure. They are not as secured as we were in our childhood. Our childhood was was in a different level, and their childhood is completely in a different level. So regular motivation and support is a must for all the students. So while observing the attention, you need to identify that how much the student is focused in the class, or whether the student is easily distracted or not. Then the possible indicators is that if the student is not focused or easily distracted, that means short attention span or restlessness, because these are a kind of things that sometimes need counseling also. So from the very beginning, if you observe the students and write it down somewhere, and you can see that the things are getting worse, then you need to discuss with the counselor in the school, or inform the parents, and accordingly have to take the steps. Okay. Action step, what you can take: use short tasks for them and visual cues. Use more of visual cues for those kind of learners, and give them short tasks because of their short attention span. Okay. So that is why personalized learning plan is required. Now for one lesson plan for all the students will not work as per NEP 2020. Okay, these students has to be given personalized lesson plan or learning plan. Next is emotions, mood changes, and participation level. How the student is participating, whether it is class activity, class discussion, other activity, anything. This also has to be noticed, and also the mood changes, how the mood changes. As Saurabh sir has mentioned, that when the student is writing down, is doing everything properly, but when you verbally you are discussing something, the mood changes. He start to behave in a rude manner. So these are the things we need to notice, and we need to write it down, because over the time how the things are getting, accordingly here maybe the possibly indication of withdrawn and overly reactive. And the solution you can take is check in 1:1 or journal reflection. That is another thing. If we ask the students to write it down, journal reflection is very good to take out the stress or anxiety. Okay, whatever they are feeling, just ask them to write it down. You can fix a certain time of the school hour, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes before, like exit ticket I have already mentioned, before the school gets over. 5 minutes, 10 minutes like this, if you keep for all the students to write down, journaling, what they have learned, what is bad, what is good, whatever comes in their mind. So that releases the stress level very fast. Saurabh sir, you can apply this technique also, journaling with these students. Next is peer interaction, collaboration, empathy. As I have mentioned, that the students, today's students actually, they work better in group rather than solo. So try to be more collaborative works in the class, or which will build the empathy between and connection between the students. There you have to notice which students are creating conflict, or which students are still try to be isolated from the group. Okay, if you find that there are certain students in the group work, every time you are framing the group, they are creating some issues. They are disturbing others, not doing their work, or another kind of students you can find who do not participate even in the group, they keep themselves isolated. What action you can do? Group roles and peer appreciation. Always give each and every student of a group a particular role, so that all the students can be involved properly. And when the students have been given separate responsibilities, they will less argue and create less conflict. Also, peer appreciation. Always encourage each student from a group to appreciate others' work. like this. For that, the teacher need to take the initiative. The teacher can start appreciating and encourage others. You also appreciate like this. Okay. So these are the steps you can take and you can see the differences. Last one is learning style. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic, whichever is required. Needs repetition, loves visuals. Some of the students cannot understand in one go. So you need to frame something that repeatedly the students have to be told. For that, you can involve other students, peer mentoring. The same topic, those peer will mentor to that particular student repeatedly so that the student can grab the ideas or the topic properly. Adapt instruction accordingly. So in these cases, whatever, as I have mentioned, you need to frame the personalized learning path for all these students. And there you can involve the peer mentoring also. It's not that everything you have to do. You have to delegate the work with even you can co-create with other teachers something where multidisciplinary way you can deliver the same thing to that particular students. Okay, so these are the quick student observation checklist which you can do on a regular basis inside the classroom, and you can easily identify the students who need special attention for that. Now we will come another segment, that is empathy in action. The 4 E's of empathetic equation. Empathy is not sympathy, first thing. So can anyone tell me what is the difference between empathy and sympathy? What is the difference between empathy and sympathy?
Sympathy is feeling sorry for someone, and empathy is putting in somebody else's shoes, how he feels.
Yes.
When the situation is, then if we will be in that same situation, how we will feel that time.
Yes.
And
That is
sympathy is simply saying sorry or that I'm with you and all.
Showing the pittiness to them. That is sympathy. And empathy means understanding. Yeah, what exactly is happening. So that is why I have mentioned empathy. I feel with you. The same pain I am also going through, the pain you are suffering from. I can understand so deeply. And sympathy, I feel for you. Yes, I feel sorry for you because you are going through that pain. That means I am not a part of your pain. I feel sorry. So that is the difference between empathy and sympathy. Now, as educator, we have to be empathetic, not sympathetic. We need to understand actually what the student is going through. Okay. So here the 4 E's of empathetic education that we need to apply. First is empower expression. Second is encourage exploration. Third is first is engage emotionally. Second is empower expression. Third is encourage exploration. Fourth is enable self-regulations. These are the 4 E's of empathetic education. Okay. Engage emotionally, empower expression, encourage exploration, enable self-regulation. So these are must for today's teacher to apply in the classroom. So first E is engage emotionally. Students may forget what you taught, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Okay. So this is the first thing we need to understand. For example, begin each class with a mood meter or check-in question like, how's your energy today? or whatever, like something beyond the syllabus. You are asking about their well-being, something like this. How are you today? Just I have mentioned what breakfast you have, how many of you have time to take breakfast, or does anyone didn't get time to take breakfast? Like this, even one or two question that is beyond the syllabus, beyond study. Okay, that builds instant connectivity with the students, because they will remember you, that you make them feel special at the beginning of the class. And every day, if you repeat like this, they automatically, you can see the rapport is building up. Okay. So this is called engage emotional. You are emotionally connecting with the students. Number 2 is empower expression. Give students the space and safety to express thoughts without fear of judgment. So you can mention at the beginning that this is a no judgment place. Like during my workshop, I always mention that this session is a no judgment session. No one is going to judge anyone. Whatever comes in your mind, just communicate. Okay, this communication is very much required. So if you make it clear to the students that you will never judge the students, so automatically they will feel safe to express their thoughts to you. So example, use emotion cards or reflection prompts, like one thing that made me smile today. Like this, you can start your class this. Or emotion cards, how, if you are asking, how are you feeling today, they can pick up one card and show. Like this, various way you can involve the students. Okay. Third is encourage exploration. Curiosity fuels learning, empathy keeps it grounded. For example, if you were in this character's shoes, how would you respond? Okay. Always involve the students and make them come out with different solutions. Whatever you are teaching, or you may take the real life challenges, as I have mentioned, Saurabh sir, the same problem you can share with your class and ask them how would you come up with the solution? How can you change this person, this boy? You need not to mention any student or anything. As a story, you can just share and ask the solution from the students. So like this, encourage the exploration. Okay, the more emotionally the students been explored, you can see that they are coming up very easily and they are getting less distracted from other things. Last one is enable self-regulation. Introduce simple mindfulness, breathing, or pause and reflect moments. Example, let's take 60 seconds of calm before we continue. Okay, in between your lesson only. You can make them stop, as because the students of these days cannot concentrate more than 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That I have mentioned in many of my sessions. That always take a break, a pause. In place of 60 seconds, even you can do it for 30 seconds. But make them do some breathing exercise, some reflection, something like this. If you are delivering a lesson, just stop in between and ask them to stand up. Now, those who have understood the whatever I have taught, just make them stand and ask them to raise hand, or you can turn at the back, those who couldn't understand, like this, some activity which make them refreshed, and then again start with that. So hardly 30 to 60 seconds, always in between. After 20 minutes or after 15 minutes, take a pause and do like this. So this will bring the self-regulation in the students. So these are the 4 E's every teacher must implement in their classes. Now, another empathy mapping activity. The instruction is choose one student profile whatever student you are having, choose one profile, like someone is shy, someone restless, someone anxious. Now the mapping is you need to find out what might they feel, what might they say or think, what might they need. That is the mapping. As a teacher, you need to map like this because empathy means you are thinking from their perspective. Now you can share with us one strategy to support them better. I'm giving 5 minutes for this. Anybody can come out. You can find one student and you can share. Because the more we share, we get to know from each other. That is why I encourage so much of sharing whatever comes in your mind. Anybody, any student you think about?
Ma'am, I would just like to, this is something that I try sometimes and it does work for me. Usually I try something to do with art. So art therapy, other than the subject, the period, what we take, other than those times, when I have some lighter subject or when children are free, probably when they have games period and, so during that time, I give them a situation or I tell them to draw something what they feel about. And many a times, half of them, they do a positive artwork, but there are times when children even try to, it is not a proper artwork, but still I can sense that there is something beyond that drawing. They would come up with some situation, like, for example, I have seen one child drawing that there is a mother and father, and he's made a happy family, but in the in between both of them he's put a cross mark. So there are like situation where he's seen that the family disorientation, probably there's an issue in the family. So I had to keep it separately and I spoke to him separately, and then he could just spill out few things like why he was feeling that way, or what is that drawing depicting. So artwork is something which I feel sometimes it may work, but it may not also, but for me it has helped me a lot. So maybe this is one suggestion I would give to the others also.
Yes, absolutely. That is a very good way of exploring the student's mind through
Yeah.
artwork. Yes, everybody others can also use the same techniques. And I would like to ask others also, please share anything you have used. Anyone wants to share anything? Let us move forward. Then 21st century skill set framework. We know about the 4 C's. Okay, everybody is well aware by now, I think. Like critical thinking, creativity, communication, collaboration. These 4 C we all know about. Now the 5th one has been included now. That is compassion. That is why empathy has been given so much of importance. So now when we talk about 21st century skill set, now there is not 4C, there are 5C. As because along with these 4C, previous 4C, we have added the compassion part, the empathy part, which is a must for all educators to apply in their classroom. Now, can anybody tell me, can share your experiences about how you are using this critical thinking or creativity or communication part or collaboration in your classroom? Any example, any experience? Because this is becoming mandatory part. You have to apply all these things in your classrooms. Anyone wants to share anything regarding how you are applying these things? Empathy part, it's newly added part, compassion part. But the 4 other things already been used. As per NEP, you have to use all these things. Anybody? Any kind of activities? No one is using any activity in the classes? Let me share some activities. So we'll see how many of you are using this.
Ma'am, in science, if we are sharing that, what if Earth stops spinning?
Okay.
This will be in the critical thinking.
Yes.
And about the creativity,
See, here I have mentioned some of the activities like think, pair, share, reflection journals, group problem solving, then open-ended projects, design thinking challenges, digital storytelling. Anything of this are you using in the classes?
yes, ma'am, we are using everything, almost everything. Think, pair, share at the beginning of the class itself. We are giving some questions, which is the motivational impact also, and which is going to arouse the curiosity between the students, among students. And reflection journals at the end of the class, we are giving them when they are writing their exit tickets and all. Problem solving, we are giving in between, open-ended for the research projects and all. Design thinking, if suppose you are designing a house or something like that, say greenhouse, what all things are required for that, that is the challenge and all. And what's that last one? Somebody has
Digital
storytelling. Mostly it's used in the English and all lessons, but still we are trying to connect it with the other subjects as well.
Yes, actually these are
Like in
interconnected.
maths, we can say that you have to reach to the maze. You have to solve the numbers and you will reach to the maze. Then they are going to create. This is not like a story, but still they are doing it step by step. And they are reaching to that, the last point, right? The entrance where they can exit the maze.
Puzzle. Actually, the puzzle format.
Correct only. Yes, ma'am. So digital story telling
It
mostly
may be
works in English and all.
not only digital, actually in physical
Any
way also.
storytelling, which you said before, also role plays and all.
Yes, yes. So most of the teachers, I think they are using, but they do not know how to connect with this 21st century skill. Because in the lesson plan, you have to mention about which skill, 21st century skill, you are using for your activities. Okay, that is why when I was talking about what activities you were conducting for 21st century skills, I didn't get any response. But when I show the example, I know most of you are using this kind of things because these have become now common. Okay. So for collaboration, like think, pair, share, reflection journal you can use for compassion also, as I have mentioned. Try to make a student, make it a habit to write before going back home, like an exit ticket I have mentioned, that whatever they have learned, three things about, 3 lines about one thing I have learned today, one thing that made me smile, one kind act I have done today, or I have helped somebody, like this. Okay, reflection journals ease out the stress level to some extent. And group work is all has to be there always. If you are not using the group activities, start using it more often, because these students nowadays learn better in group activities rather than solo studies. Project work, project-based learning. In my session, I have mentioned project work is different, project-based learning is different. Okay. So these project-based learning means the students will learn the entire chapter through projects. And project that is been given after the finishing of the chapter, that the teacher generally decides the topic based on that particular chapter, and the student do the work. But here the students will do all the work. Teacher will be only as facilitator. And finally, the projects will come under the topic, where everything will be connected to the topic, where the students will get to know about the topic in details. The entire learning process will happen through project. That is project-based learning, PBL. And design thinking challenges, as ma'am has already mentioned. There are various, even real life challenges can be given, and the student can come out with different solution. And storytelling to connect all subjects. As I have mentioned at the beginning, in science also the students can enact as a particular character and make a story out of it. So like this, actually all subjects can be connected through that. Even if you ask the students, they will come up with different kind of story ideas connecting different subjects like science, math, history, geography, or even arts, sports, everything. So these are the application of the 21st century skills in everyday class. Now, mini activity already I have asked, but I got the answer from Afshana ma'am. And now anyone else want to share? The 5C hunt builds what activity in your class builds one of the 5Cs? Share examples. I have already mentioned about some of the activities. If you are doing any kind other kind of activities, please you can share. Anyone else want to share anything? Of final stage, we are that guiding motivation and focus. Give a meaningful task, as I have mentioned, as per the pace the student can learn and their interest. Try to give the task. celebrate small wins. Whatever way you can celebrate in front of the class to motivate the students, do that. If one student was not writing, completing the work, one day the student has been able to complete, instantly celebrate that in front of the class to motivate the student like this. Use student voice, make them aware, accountable, responsible, as well as express themselves in the class. Use growth mindset language. The way you deliver the instruction or appreciate the student, always try to use growth mindset language so that automatically the mindset of the students also shifts. If you can put up the posters of growth mindset in every classroom, that will be very helpful to all the students, because through visual cues, the students learn the best. And balance challenge with support. Whenever you can find the students are facing any kind of emotional challenge or other kind of challenge, try to support them empathetically, not sympathetically. So this way you can motivate the student easily. Now, reflection. This is the final activity. My one change: in one sentence, describe how you will approach students differently after today's session. That means any key takeaway from today's session, which you would like to apply in your class. Any takeaway from today's session?
Ma'am, I think I would like to change something in now the way I teach or probably approach my students. I think I will add on more of activity-based approach. Because most of the times it's one way, like children listen and we go on telling and talking, and whatever activity also we do, it's like we are telling them and they do it. I think it has to be more two-way, and also more of activities will engage them more. So that is what I felt like. Maybe 10% if I'm doing, I'll make it to 30%.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you so
And
much.
Rachna ma'am has mentioned be more empathetic. Okay. Then Garima ma'am has mentioned, in my class, I would implement all 5 C's. Very good. And others? Anyone else want to share? What one thing they want to implement in the class? Shubhona ma'am is there.
I want to implement the celebrate small wins, because
Very
that will motivate the students to, that will encourage them to participate for the further. So that I'm going to include that. Already I'm doing, but not up to the mark. But now I'm going to implement that in a fully.
good.
Thank you.
Shuvechala ma'am has written, what you explain, all 5 C's I can apply. Yes. Others were left out. Saurabh sir is there. Compassionately. Apsana ma'am. Okay. Yes. Others? Because in the 5C now, compassion has been added. Yes. Yes, Deepya ma'am, you want to share anything?
No, ma'am, same thing what ma'am said, ma'am. We are just, look, whatever we were teaching, it was again the old one. and we'll try to implement however we can make them understand, enjoy, be in stick to the class. They would say, yes, this is the session we want to attend. So this words you can say, ma'am.
So key takeaways are every behavior has an emotional root. Empathy drives effective teaching, and teachers are emotional architects. Okay, as teacher, we are the architects because we will build the
Yes.
student.
True, ma'am.
Yes. So these are the key takeaways of today's sessions. Now we have come to the last slide. So thank you. And teach with empathy, lead with awareness, and inspire with heart. Together we rise, the Edvishan way. That is my quote of tonight. So let us rise together and make our classroom meaningful.
Nice
for
thought,
all.
ma'am. Nice write-up.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. So
Thank you very much, ma'am.
thank you all. So now we have come to the end of this session. Anything you want to share or any query or anything? And Dr. 𝗚𝗂𝗁𝗂𝗀𝗻𝗃, welcome. You have joined quite late, but at least you have joined. Thank you. Thank you, Garimama. And anything, if you want to share, you can always write in the WhatsApp group. We are always there. So, and
The WhatsApp group will remain, ma'am, there as it is?
yes, here it will remain the same. We do not close any of the groups. And in the group, we will share the feedback form and then the
Yes,
certificates.
it's already there. They have
Okay.
shared the link.
Yes. And the certificates will be shared in the WhatsApp group only. By tomorrow, hopefully, we'll be able to share it.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Manavi ma'am.
Thank you so much,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you all. So let
Thank
us
you,
wind
ma'am.
up for today. Thank you.
Sure, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you.